attention, troop, attention. Audience, please rise. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard, please post the flag of the United States of America. Scout, salute. Audience, please place your right hand over your heart. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard, please post the flag of Troop 337. Scout signs. Please join me in the Scout oath, law, and outdoor code.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation-minded.
2. Color guard, reform rank. About face. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard at ease, troop at ease. Audience, you may be seated.
Thank you all for joining us today as we have the honor and pleasure of bestowing the rank of Eagle Scout to Hank Freeze. The Scouting movement started in the United States in 1910, and its constituents one of the most and significant movements of our time. We are truly grateful for the success of the Scouting program. We are also grateful for the influence that Troop 337 has had on the lives of our youth since it's held its first charter in 1956. We pray for the continued blessings on this troop and its leaders and committee members and its chartered organization through the years ahead. We pray that Troop 337 may continue to produce leaders for tomorrow, prepared as good citizens. Eagle candidate Hank Freeze, you have earned and been deemed worthy of the highest rank in Scouting. All who know you rejoice in your achievement. Your position, as you well know, is one of honor and responsibility. You are now marked men. As an Eagle Scout, you will be asked to assume the solemn obligation to do your duty to God, to your country and your fellow Scouts, and to your fellow citizens. As this is a great undertaking and is therefore right and proper that the Board of Review has made a careful examination of each candidate prior to the presentation of Eagle rank. In addition to his achievements, take on added significance when one considers the tempo of times with school, activities, work, and preparing for life after high school. It is truly amazing what this young man has been able to achieve. Hank, would you please be seated in the front row? Would you please come to the front and be seated? The path to Eagle can be described as a steep trail, leading to the peak of Eagle rank. Along that trail, there are 6 steps, the ranks of Scouting, that you have had to pass on this trail. Hank, it is important that you look back on what you have accomplished over the years. When you joined Troop 337, the first rank you achieved was Scout. As a first-year Scout, you started to learn what it meant to live by the Scout oath and law, and how to be a Scout at all times. You earned your totemship, your firemanship, and so could you safely operate a pocket knife and start a campfire. The next rank you earned was Tenderfoot. This offered a taste of the great adventures awaiting you in Scouting, and gave you the basic skills you would need to begin taking part in those adventures. Next was Second Class. You learned how to use a map and a compass, and how to build a campfire, and how to safely use pocket knives and wood tools. You started to prove your abilities in camping, first aid, swimming, and other Scout skills. The founder of the Scouting movement, Lord Baden-Powell, said that all Scouts should earn First Class. For this rank, you tested yourself even more. You experienced greater adventures, practiced your Scout skills many times, over and started greater adventures and started teaching others the way of scouting. With your confidence and knowledge, people started to expect more of you and you of yourself. You were prepared to be the best leader you could be, whether in your patrol, your troop, or your community. Star rank was the next. Finally, you had more freedom to choose the directions that interest you. The focus shifted from basic scout skills to earning the first 6 merit badges you would need for Eagle. The requirements now included service to others. You had to be active in your troop and serve in a position of leadership for at least 4 months and take part in 6 hours of service. You started to learn what it would take to become an Eagle. The next rank, life, one of the most difficult ranks. This is the last rank before you could soar as an Eagle. At this point, you had earned more than half the merit badges required for Eagle. The life rank also required you to be in your troop and serve in a position of leadership for at least 6 months. You were required to take part in service projects for 6 hours, and you had now served in many different positions in your troop and become an amazing leader. Eagle was now within reach.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jason Jeffries, the Scoutmaster of Troop 337. The Eagle rank is scouting's highest rank. Only a small percentage of scouts reach this lofty goal. For more than 6 years, you have been guiding younger scouts and helping them learn the ways of scouting. You served actively in different leadership positions, including patrol leader, scribe, troop guide, and senior patrol leader. You've earned beyond the 21 merit badges required for Eagle, and as a result, you will be awarded an Eagle Palm. You've also demonstrated your leadership ability by planning, organizing, and leading a service project that significantly benefited your community. You traveled a long journey and finally reached the pinnacle of the path to Eagle. At this time, we would like to open the floor to anyone with any stories and memories about our Eagle candidate, including parents, family members, and more.
I'll go. My name's Dad. Most of you know me. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming. It's really great to see everybody here. A lot of faces from current times in the past. My reflection that I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about with Hank is I've been going through the photos, really that cover about 10 years now, 10 or 11 years of scouting, Hank's scouting career, from when he was a Tiger to, doing his Eagle project. And it was really fun to do that project, and it was fun to look back and I think see, the fun times. A lot of the enjoyment, the fun comes through in looking at it. I think that, the other thing that comes through is that if you have a brother and you're in an activity together, you don't get that many pictures on your own, unfortunately. So there's a lot of those pictures that Lance is into. So there were some. Hank and I did get to do some things together. We went to Philmont. It was just he and I and some of his early days in scouting and things like that in the troop. And that was fun to see. I think the other thing that really spoke to me going through the photos is seeing him grow up and the perseverance that Hank has shown in scouting. There were lots of things that weren't necessarily easy. He ran for senior patrol leader several times, three times, but he really wanted it. He really wanted to do that, and he persevered and he got that done. And his Eagle project was, as they all are, I think they're all challenging, and people work hard to do those things. Hank's in particular had quite a long sort of ending to it as he was working with his sponsor to get it 100% finished, which he really wanted to see happen. So I was proud of him for that. So I think the fun and the perseverance and just, and it was great to see it, and I'm real proud of him. Thank you.
Of course I got it. Hey everybody, my name is Mr. Brown. I was a Scoutmaster for Troop 337 before Mr. Jeffries. And I kind of had planned on getting up here and saying something, and normally I sit down and I write something out and I go through, okay, where did Hank embarrass himself? How can I, get a chuckle on his expense? But as I sat around the last few days kind of thinking about his journey and my journey with him, is Hank really didn't have any of those moments. I mean, he was strong throughout his entire time in scouting. We never had issues with him at summer camp, ever. He was never causing any problems, not that I can remember at least. But the one thing that's incredibly memorable about Hank is his leadership. We hear about silent leaders, and I wouldn't classify him as a silent leader. I would say he was a very steady leader. And he was reliable, and you knew what you were going to get from Hank. And that was the one thing as a scoutmaster that you loved about your scouts. You knew what to expect. There were no surprises and things like that, and Hank was definitely one of those. The other thing that I'll always remember about Hank is how good he was with the young scouts, whether he may want to admit that or not. In his 3 terms as patrol leader, did you troop guide as well?
I was troop guide.
Yeah. So for those who didn't go through scouting, troop guide is not an easy road because you're an older scout taking on new scouts who are generally around the 11-year-old mark and who have a lot of energy and not much attention span. And Hank was always very patient with his scouts, not whether it was troop guide or being a patrol leader or senior patrol leader or any leadership, we could always count on Hank. So, Hank, the one thing I'll always remember about you is your great leadership and your reliability, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me, hanging out with you in the years we had in Scout, buddy, and congratulations on this. You deserve it 100%.
Thank you.
You bet, buddy.
Are you surprised? Well, I have to talk to you over here. So my name is Brian, Mr. Haspin, and I wanted to make just a couple of remarks about Hank, and this is kind of an impromptu thing that I thought about and asked Jonathan when I first walked in. In Scouts, we always hear about the oath and the law, and we hear it all the time. And every now and then it's kind of nice to reflect on what is the oath and law about. And simply put, it's about developing character, right? It's the character that a young man is going to take through the rest of his life. In my opinion, there's really 2 ways you can judge that, whether that worked or not, and whether the scout is going to be able to show that to other scouts. Number 1, that's by how many of the younger scouts look up to him. And number 2, whether the leaders are sad when he leaves or not. So number 1, Jesse and I worked with the den scouts we brought over to the troop, and there were, I think, 8 scouts, almost all of them are still with us. If you ask every one of them, which of the older scouts that you look up to and that you like, it's always Hank. Now there's other scouts in the room that applies to too, but today's about Hank. So that's the first thing, is the younger scouts really look up to you. And I went camping with Hank 3-4 weeks ago. He set up an axe yard, which takes time, for 1 scout. He sat down and worked with that scout in an axe yard to get him certified for 1 scout. That little scout, Cal, who just joined us, is going to look up to Hank the rest of his time in scouting. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you ask any one of those leaders sitting around, you ask Mr. Brown, you ask Jesse, you ask the other ones I don't see a lot. Of course, if you ask Jonathan, Jason, we're going to say we wish he wasn't leaving, because he really is the scout that lives the oath, that lives the law, that takes care of the younger scouts, trains them, guides them, and I congratulate him for that day. So, one more round of applause.
I'll share quick 2 things while some of the people, if they want to get up here. But I do recall, no, you can come on up. It'll be quick. Come on up. Yeah. It'll be fun. Lance, you want to come up here and get a line too? I know you got something to say.
Oh boy.
All right. Make sure it goes quick. There are multiple things that I could share about Hank, but one of the things that sticks in my mind, and Mr. Brown hit on it with perseverance, is everyone will hopefully get a chuckle out of this. But at one camp out in particular, it was at Tohosa. Hank had set up his hammock
and he decided that it was maybe an okay time to swing around a little bit in that hammock. And I don't know how it exactly happened or what really transpired, but all of a sudden I remember hearing a bit of a and you know that when you get the wind knocked out of you, that and then just the crazy, oh my gosh, what is happening to me on my face. And I know that Hank had landed on a rock in the middle of his back when his hammock decided not to be in the tree anymore and on the ground. And I remember this day because Hank could have very easily just thrown in the towel and been like, nope, I'm done. But he, through grit and determination, hung out for the rest of the camp out. And I think, I'm pretty sure he didn't swing any ever again in his hammock, but would still get in that hammock all the time. So that was one of my favorite memories of Hank as a younger scout. So, great.
So I'm sure as all of you realize, I'm not a scout. So, you know, just Hank, I've known him through high school. I didn't go to Brookfield or anything like that, so I met him in high school. I met him through our friend Jason. Around sophomore year is when me and him really started hanging out with one another. And so I've seen his less professional side compared to a few of you guys, but I promise outside of this, professional. But just getting to really know him throughout the years, you find out who he is as a person, how great he is, you know, just how much you can rely on him, and just how honest he will always be with you. And if you really need someone, you really need to talk to someone, he'll always be willing to lend a helping hand for you. And he just really helped me throughout the years. That's why he just offered to help me with everything. So just wanted to come up here and thank him for that. So,
I also met Hank in high school. We had the same language arts class for our sophomore year. And I remember in one of his assignments, he was talking about how one of his greatest goals was to achieve Eagle, and now he did. I also remember junior year, we started talking a little bit more about it, and we realized we're pretty much on the same track. And then we kind of just pushed each other to be better and be able to achieve our goals. If it wasn't for Hank, I would be doing my Eagle board review next week anyways. But so yeah, I just like to say that Hank will be the kind of person that'll push you. He will kind of guide you through anything that you might need help with. I really enjoyed helping him out with his projects at Reach Church right across the street. That was fun. And overall, he's just a great guy and easy to make memories with. So, yeah.
Hi. For a lot of you haven't seen my face in a while, and that's because I live in Fort Collins now. But Hank is a real special. I shouldn't say it like that. That sounds like but anyway, Hank's a real special guy. Both because he's done so great as a regular scout, but also, even without being a venturer, he led this path as a venturer, effectively. For those who don't know, the venturing motto is to lead the adventure and to be the mentor. And Hank, throughout his entire scouting career, well, most of his scouting career, I'm sure when I didn't know you, you were a little more crazy. But through his entire scouting career, he was a mentor, not only to the scouts younger than him, but to the scouts the same age and even older than him. And his ability for going above and beyond, being an adventurous scout, it's phenomenal. After the plague ship that was our sea base, we got about a week's break, And immediately after, he has to go and lead the Crew 21, not the Crew 21, that's me. The Troop 337 summer camp. Goes and does it without any issue. And then right after I had come back from the ER, because Hank got better and I didn't, he asked me, RJ, are you good? I say, yeah, they've just hopped me up on like 10 quadrillion pills, but I'm good. And then he, almost immediately afterwards, he asks, hey, do you want to come up here and work 3 months next summer with me? What? Sure? Where's this coming from? Oh yeah, one of the guys asked me to. And I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty fun. And, whoa. Anyway, that plan fell through, but Hank's willingness to go through and just do it, or even just try and jump on the thing and be enthusiastic about literally doing anything, is just extraordinary. And I really hope you continue with that. Please. I don't know how to end speeches. Bye.
I don't know how to start this, but the first thing I noticed about Hank when I first met him was, I think, kind of a steadfast consistency. Like, every time you went to talk to him, every time anything that he dealt with, you knew what to expect. And it was that consistency that led him, I think, to be such a good mentor to the young scouts. I mean, I don't know what happened, but he was able to work some kind of black magic with them. It's like every time he showed up, they'd be on task, anytime. All he had to do was just stand there and then get working. It's like, I've never seen adults be able to do that. I've never seen anybody be able to do like the kind of mind control that he had over them. I think Hank is like probably one of the most reliable people that I know. And it's his consistency, I think, determination to do things the right way is what got me back into scouting. After taking an extended hiatus in high school, focused on other things. And he kind of showed me damn, maybe this is something I want to do for myself. If he can do it, then so can I. And it was that kind of, I guess, well, I don't know how to say it, but it helped me get to first class and onto that plague boat. And another thing I noticed about the plague boat is that Hank, despite being, completely sick the whole time, is he was still always up and trying to help, even when he was puking his guts out. Like he would go puke his guts out, and then he would come back and help as much as he could. Even though it was just me, Marshall, RJ, and then Hank that were doing it. It really helped with a lot of
Lance disagrees.
Yeah. Marshall, Hank, RJ, and Lance.
I was the only one who wasn't sick other than Marshall.
I got sick the first day, literally.
And then I got back up and worked for the rest of the week.
It's about me.
Well, yeah. Another story is that we wouldn't play capture the flag in the dark at Marshall's house. And then I remember, if you guys don't know Riley and me, but Hank didn't see him, and then such got his ass knocked under the ground. I don't know why I'm laughing. This isn't that funny, but he just kept getting back up and then getting his ass knocked down again and again and again. I remember that. You probably don't, probably a concussion, but I think that shows a lot of consistency with him. maybe the most reliable friend that I have. Yeah, I don't know what else to fucking say.
Language.
Sorry.
My goodness.
Yeah, alright, well.
Maybe there.
I like microphones.
The mic doesn't work anymore.
Okay, sorry. Well, that's fine.
Somebody grab it.
Alrighty. So, Hank has been in the troop effectively my entire time in the troop. I think you were there on my first camp out at Alexander, right?
I believe so, yes.
Awesome. So, Hank has been with me my whole time through this journey, I'd say. And I've been there for most of this. I know I wasn't there for the first little bit. You know, Ohio fun times. So, we went on all 3 high adventures that I've been on together. Philmont, Sea Base, and Northern Tier. As they said, the plague boat, I was patient number 0. Fun times. And Hank and everybody else did a great job taking care of me and everybody else on that. You know, I'd say fun journey. I don't know if I'd call it a fun time being sick. But we went through that together, right? Hank was my ASCO. Hank has been there with me the whole time. He's been reliable, and I've always been happy to have him back. And I've noticed that not a lot of people are telling enough stupid stories right now, right? Which is a problem, because that's a critical element of this factor. So I'll tell one dumb story with Hank. So we were at Philmont with me, Hank, and Marshall in the same tent, which that was a long time ago. We would have been about a little older
Marshall
than
didn't go to football.
No, not who was it?
Northern.
Might have been Jen. And then this was Northern Tier. Sorry, we tented together on all 3s. So we're on this trip, and if I say crazy, Lance, what do you say?
Crazy? I was crazy once. I don't want to go. I don't want to get started.
Rugrats. So that's something that we had been saying this whole trip. And I think that actually is something that we said every trip. And the one night, I got up, I don't know the time, it would have been something blazingly early, like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. And I roll over and I see Hank, and he just opens his eyes and he looks at me and goes, crazy. I am crazy. And I will always remember that distinct face that he made. And I'll leave y'all with a laugh.
Oh man, you see a Key and Peele sketch. They have it's about the guy who speaks after MLK at the I Have a Dream speech. This kind of feels like that. Much like Mark, I clearly am not an Eagle Scout, or a Scout at that. And I met Hank in the 8th grade. We were friends there at high school, but I really started to see his character, and I think the word everyone else has been using is steady, and that's the big one. Consistent. I saw that during technical theater. If you don't know the thing about technical theater, is that there are a lot of people who aren't steady or consistent, but they're kind of just there to hang out, and that's very difficult, especially when you're trying to put together a show. Hank was not one of those people. He quickly rose to be a leader within the community. He quickly worked, which was great. It has just been a way that we've kind of almost reconnected. It's been a new experience, and it's been really great. And I'm honored that he had me here today. And I'm going to keep this short. Thank you.
I've known Hank for a long time. It's been quite a while. I think when we really became friends, it was probably 6th or 7th grade. We were at middle school. We'd hang out every day at lunch. But I've known Hank probably since kindergarten, to be completely honest. I've seen him grow up and kind of seeing him achieve something that he's been working his whole life to achieve has been amazing. And I think he really deserves this, honestly. Awesome job, Hank.
Alright. I'll sort of close this out with a sort of story from my years of scouting that pertains to Hank here. When I was a first-year scout and I went on my very first camp out, I made the silly mistake of putting my rain fly on inside out. And rain flies, you know, they're designed to keep the rain out, but when they're on inside out, they decide to funnel all of it into your tent. It's awesome. And that happened to me, and it was not fun. And after a long, hard day on your first camp out, going back to your tent and seeing a giant pool of water is not fun. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to ask for help or anything, so I just sucked it up and I tossed my soaking wet sleeping pad and sleeping bag aside, and I got onto a pack towel, and I just sat there in the cold and the rain, and I started crying, and I was upset, and I was thinking to myself, maybe scouting's not for me. And then Hank heard my cries from his tent, which was next to mine, and instead of just ignoring it or sleeping through it, he came over to my tent, and he opened it up, and he saw me there, and he didn't leave me there. Instead, he brought me into his tent, and even though he only had one sleeping bag, he unzipped it, and we used it like a big blanket. And it was cold, and it was hard, but instead of just leaving me there, he invited me in, and that's probably the reason that I stayed in scouting, was because someone offered a compassionate hand to me, and that's why I think that Hank is probably the greatest scout I know and the greatest scout I'll ever know.
Okay, can we get the parents of Hank to please come forward and stand next to their scout? Thanks. Bear with me. No worries. Okay. It is with my distinct honor and pleasure to award you with your Eagle Scout Award. Try not to take you. Lots of practice, yeah. Lately. Congratulations, sir.
All right. No one will ever know the unnumbered acts. Oh, okay. My bad.
You guys wanna?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to take the old one off and put the new one on? Oh, yeah, that was zero. And the hole in this thing is simply tiny. So.
No one will ever know the unnumbered acts of self-sacrifice and helpfulness from the mother of an Eagle Scout. As the symbol of what this mother has made possible, the court asks now to present the mother a Mom's Eagle Pin. Father has stood by you over the years and has offered his encouragement and assistance. As the symbol of what he has contributed to your attainment of this award, the court now asks you present him the Dad's Eagle Pin.
It's okay, we have experience moving these things as well to get the backs of pins.
We didn't lose it completely.
Just in case.
As a special addition to today's ceremony, Hank will also acknowledge each of his grandparents with a grandparent's Eagle Pin. Grandparents, please come to the stage.
So Hank, you're almost done standing for right now. It's okay. Okay, I'm going to read your certificate. It says, Scouting America is proud to award the rank of Eagle Scout to Hank Fries in recognition of successful completion of all requirements for Scouting's highest rank. And I'll give you your Eagle Palm as well. Temporary certificate because it takes a long time to get these actual things back from the national.
It's suitable for framing, but the frame is not.
Frame
is not
Frame not included. All right. You guys, be seated.
You guys can see.
Oh, not you. You can sit back down.
Wow, I'm still being seated.
All right.
Just.
All right. Now we're going to talk about your Eagle badge. The first obligation of an Eagle Scout is courage. Courage gives all character, force, and strength. Trusting in the Lord, he faces each day unafraid and pursues to do his best in caring for others and standing up for what is right. May the red of your badge always represent courage. The second responsibility of an Eagle Scout is to live with honor. An Eagle's honor is sacred. Honor is the foundation of all character. Character is what one really is deep down inside, not what someone thinks you are. An eagle so will live that he reflects upon his home, his faith, his school, his friends, and upon himself. May the white of your badge remind you to live with honor. The third obligation of an Eagle Scout is loyalty. Without loyalty, all character lacks direction. An eagle is loyal to his ideals. To his own self he must be true. It therefore allows, as the night follows the day, he cannot be false to any man. Neither pain, profit, pride, nor personal loss shall divert him from his loyalty. May the blue of your badge remind you to always be loyal. The final obligation of an Eagle Scout is service. He extends a helping hand to those who are still on the scouting trail, just as others helped him in his. The achievement of the Eagle rank is the habit of a good turn daily does not lose its importance. He protects and defends those in need. He aids and comforts the unfortunate and the oppressed. He upholds the rights of others while remaining just and fair. May the eagle suspended from your ribbon always remind you to serve those who are in need.
Okay, Hank, as a scout, we know that each Eagle Scout's career, there is generally at least one individual who's gone the extra mile to help you achieve the honor you are receiving this afternoon. Now it is your opportunity to recognize those individuals with Eagle Mentor pins.
Now I get to talk.
So, the first person I would like to recognize as a mentor is Mr. Brown. You please come up here. So I said that you're really the first Scoutmaster who I remember. I mean, Mr. B was around for a little bit, but not very long. And I like to think that as a patrol leader during my very beginning of Scouts, that you sort of let me and everybody else on PLC learn how to lead, as opposed to sort of being a helicopter Scoutmaster.
Appreciate that.
You think I'd be good at it?
Maybe we're over there, it's fine.
Okay. The other person who I'd like to recognize is my dad. You can come up here. I said that you really helped push me along. There was some points during my journey to this where I was I did not want to do it. I was stuck, but you would sit down with me and we would plan stuff out. And I could kind of tell that you wanted me to get it almost as much as I wanted to. So, and I would appreciate you helping me out throughout the whole journey.
Happy to do it. So many pins.
Hank, I congratulate you as an Eagle Scout. The eagle soars high and seeks to rest only upon lofty peaks. As an Eagle Scout, you too must soar high. You must not swerve from the path of duty. Your ideals must be lofty. You must strive to obtain that which is in the highest and noblest in life. Congratulations.
After the colors are retired, we invite everyone to congratulate our new Eagle Scout and their parents to join us for refreshments. Thank you for joining us today. Will everyone please stand for the retiring of the colors?
He already had to stand. Color guard, attention, troop, attention. Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard, please retrieve the flag for troop 337. Color guard, please retrieve the flag of the United States of America. Scouts, salute. Color guard, reform rank. About face. Color guard, forward march. 2. Color guard, halt. About face. Color guard at ease, troop at ease. Audience at ease.